Hello everyone, my name is Dasha. I'm CEO and founder of Connected. It's a mobile app that helps students to get into colleges abroad with scholarships and grants. And I welcome you in our new episode of our podcast, From Here to There, where we share amazing stories of international people who studied abroad and made an international career. And our guest, my dear friend Anna.
Hi everyone, thank you so much.
She's an amazing. By the way, guys, that's the first time we recorded in person. It was like true Silicon Valley tie. We had to fix the light with like screwdriver and everything. Anna's my close friend, and you like a perfect example of the person who not only studied abroad because you did the business school, who managed to build an amazing career and as a product manager in Silicon Valley. She lives in San Francisco, but you're also one of the best people when it comes to networking and building communities. And we're gonna talk about this later. But yeah, just at the beginning, do you mind sharing how like your international journey started like initially? It was like from the school, first job, like what was your path?
Yeah, first of all, Dasha, thank you so much for inviting me. It's like a pleasure and especially testing, and you guys haven't seen our preparation before. Journey started a long time ago. Like initially, I'm from Moscow, Russia, and I used to work at international logistic company DHL. That was like one of my first jobs during the university with international company. That was like a first signal, and then I started working at a Fortune 500 company, which was American Canadian multimedia corporation, Thomson Reuters. And at that time, I started in Moscow, and 3.5 years later, I've been moved and like transferred to Germany, Karlsruhe. It's on the border with Switzerland and France. And that's where like officially my international journey started. I started working with the customers in United Kingdom, Netherlands, Sweden, Finland, Germany, and Russia. And I was traveling all around those countries, and I started like being exposed to this international approach of like business. I already been exposed a lot in Moscow because all my professional career always was in English. Like you can talk with your peers in your mother language, but usually it's always in English. And at that time, I understood that like okay, during my work there, I already visited for first time United States, and I saw Stanford campus. Oh my God. I have tears of joy and tears of sadness that I didn't study at a place like that. It was like I remember myself staying right in the middle of Stanford. There were students giving you a free tour in university, and I was with my friend who were crying because she finished pretty big university in Moscow. I'm not, where I only have one campus. And I remember this feeling, I want to be there. I want to study abroad. I want to experience this. And then when I came back from US for my business trip and like from my holidays back to Europe and I was working, unfortunately or maybe fortunately, I've been laid off because our company being acquired. It's actually was a blessing because that gave me opportunity to think what I want to do next. If I want to continue professional journey or I want to study abroad. And that was a like changing moment when I decided to study abroad.
Well, first of all, I totally get the Stanford point of view. I mean, I got to US 5 years ago first time, and that actually was Stanford, like in the campus of Stanford, where I decided to quit investment banking and start my own company. I don't know, something happens in the Stanford campus that it just like, fuck it all. I want to do this.
It's the energy there. I think it's the energy.
Yeah, I still have like Stanford hoodie.
Me too. I have a Stanford cardinal, which I brought back home, and like everyone thought that I'm studying in Stanford.
So I've been talking with like my co-founder just like this morning and said that like I was like, hey, do you want to come back to Stanford to study MBA? I was like, no, I want to come back to Stanford to teach entrepreneurship. That's actually one of my goals. Maybe 2024. Let's see.
Nice, very good. You know, surprisingly, guys, exactly today they're opening enrollment for additional study. It's called Stanford Continuous Study,
Yeah.
and they opened December 4 for cohort in January. And like before coming to see Dasha, I was actually scrolling which courses maybe I want to take in person and come back to campus.
Oh my god, it's so cool. So coming back to the topic, well, your in many cases, people want to start international education just to be able to have a job abroad. In your case, I wouldn't say lucky because I don't like the word luck when it comes to career. It's like it's your accomplishment and your effort. Yeah, that you managed to have a job in like international companies in DHL and Thomson Reuters back in Russia, and then you've been like relocated with a job to Germany, which rarely happens. Like in many cases, like it's really hard to get a job, and that's why like sometimes people go. So why have you decided just to continue? I mean, like it seems like your career was going like on track. You already had the relocation, of course, Stanford, but it seems like a big risk. Like hey, like there's a career. You already have like you're already abroad, so like I guess like the most difficult job, like to cross the border and nail the legal part was done. But like you still decided to take this break and go to business school.
Actually, that was not the case. Like as I mentioned, I've been laid off. I don't know. Now it sounds very sad, but to be honest, like my first initial reaction was of course tears because I was 5.5 years in the company. But then it took me a little bit time to cool down, and like I have opportunity to come back to Moscow. I came back actually. I went through a couple interviews. I understood that the culture of the companies, I do not feel anymore that I'm connected. I became, I don't want to sound like posh or anything, but I just understood that that's not the way how I'm looking for to work with my colleagues, to have like a work ethic and stuff like that. And that was like pretty much because I didn't give up on like continue my professional journey. It was really good for me to go through a couple interviews at really big companies, right? And like experience this by myself. At the same time, like funny thing, the month before I learned about a merger and acquisition of our company, which leads to like laying off people, I went in Moscow to international study fair.
Like business, it was like MBA 25 or something.
Yes, MBA like 2017 or 2016, and I got like a huge pack of brochures from different universities. At that time, it was absolutely without any goal in mind that I will study abroad. I just like, okay, let me go there, explore. I didn't know that I will be laid off. Let me go explore, learn about this university. I chose like few universities, one in France. I chose one in Israel, Technion, because I have a computer engineering degree, bachelor and master's. And I thought like, oh, it will be cool. And then I have a few in the United States. Let's see. They were sitting at my table. I haven't touched them until this moment of being laid off came. And I literally remember myself sitting on the table, crying, and then by like seeing with my eyes these journals on my table. And I'm like, okay, let's open them.
Yeah, like it's so interesting that
goosebumps. I'm talking about this. It was like 8 years ago already.
Yeah, it's like sometimes like the most, I guess, like sometimes what it seems like the saddest parts like in your life, like people turn to education because like if you're kind of like in a crossroads, what you should do is invest in yourself. And when it comes to like international education, especially business school, it's one of the best decisions. Why States and why Halt?
Mm-hmm. Great question. Okay, first of all, I thought, as I mentioned, about Israel and Technion. I felt like, okay, it's a really good path. It's pretty easy path for me to go there because it's very logical. And I thought it's not challenging enough. At that time, when I was start looking for a university, my business school, Halt International Business School, they were hosting, I think this is incredible marketing idea. They were hosting open campus days. Mine was in London, and I used to have a visa to London. And I said that I'd been laid off, but actually my company asked me to work for 3 more months to finish some of the project. And then those 3 months, I used this time also to travel. I said that I have a client in United Kingdom. I came for the client, and then I stay a couple days longer, and I attend those open days. And I study for 2 days, whole weekend in this business school to see how they teach, which professors they have, what's the students around me. Like some of those people, by the way, were studying with me after that. From like London campus, some of them flew to United States. And I'm like, okay, I really like it. And also, I will tell you guys, it's very important to think about visa. Like UK is very challenging in terms of visa after education, especially with a certain passport. And in United States, you always will get at least 1 year visa, which will allow you to work after finishing university. Or I got 3 years visa. We can talk about this. Yes, like it's called STEM visa. STEM visa.
But actually, UK changed the rules. It's like after Brexit, they actually right now they offer 2 years after you finish your masters. It's a work permit to be able to find a job. But it just like recently, it was just like during I think it was like after the Brexit, maybe because of the talent, migration, and so on. It was not the case before, but I guess like they kind of like needed to start to attract talent, and they changed immigration rules.
But you also need to think next step after in UK. You need to get job and then apply for visa. In US, it's opposite. After you finish university, you will automatically get, it's not visa actually, it's like a status. You will get a legal status to work, and then you can look for the job. It's kind of opposite. Plus, in the US, it's like more clear path in terms of immigration and next step. When in UK, if those 2 years are expired, you need to think what to do next.
True. Well, no country is easy with immigration. We know this. Work visa, extraordinary ability visas, green cards, and all of this. I want to ask about the business school. I that was MBA, right? In your case.
Yeah.
I will be honest. I have my own prejudice against MBA. Sometimes I feel like that's overpriced, especially like if you don't get a scholarship. Plus, you can get like many different ways. So like when students come to us, I usually do not recommend MBA because I say like, hey, maybe professional programs or something else would be in terms of quality versus value for money. But I do want you to challenge me. Was it actually worth it?
110%. And every single year after I finished, I think more and more, because in the moment you facing a lot of challenges. But then now when my life is getting more structured, I'm very thankful for this experience. You touch a very important topic, scholarships. Without scholarship, I don't know it will be that easy, because I wrote incredible motivation letter for myself. And like a couple years ago, I reread it and I'm like, oh my God, I will vote for myself.
Give me again.
Yes, definitely. I wrote like such a great motivational letter, and it helped me to get scholarship. I think approximately. Should I give you numbers?
Yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable,
yeah, I'm comfortable. I can do in percentages.
Yeah,
I got approximately 40% scholarship. And actually, during the course, I learned that there were people who get 100% scholarship because they signed the contracts that they will help business school with something, or they were committed to like represent school. There's so many things. That's like a little bit plus of private school compared to the government school. Where in government it's less spots for international, it's more for local people. In private school they're very helpful for international students, and I have really great visa services who are explaining. The details about visa are so complicated. Now I think I have a black belt in all those visa situations.
True. Well, again, scholarship are my favorite topic, my company's favorite topic, especially motivation, like personal statements. What do you think was like the core? I mean, like how you sold yourself?
Oh, I sold myself. Oh, I love it. Everyone loves talking about themselves. Okay, I sold not my soul. I sold, because you also should remember it's not only you choosing school choosing you choosing school. And that's my attitude always, that like, hey guys, I have like all this bunch of brochures and you should be thankful that I choose you and I gave you money. This is a capitalistic country. Like people are fighting for like where your money will go to. I said that I'm woman in technology, which is exactly. I was going through a lot of challenging periods because I'm coming from very traditional cultural in terms of like gender roles. That I was only one woman in my department for a very, very long time, and I'm very thankful to my company because they did a really great job, and there were no intention not to hire a woman. There was just like no candidates, and I was like very inspired, like, okay, I want to be first woman in this department. That was one of the things I wrote. Woman, technology, very traditional background. The second thing was that on top of having traditional background, I also explore a lot Europe, right? That I know how business work in these countries. It's developing countries, and I know how business work in developed countries. Because during MBA, I know that you're not a fan of it. During MBA, idea that you are contributing to the table, to the conversation based on your experience. That's why I'm very against where MBA being taken by people who just finished master's degree and there's no professional experience. And that was like a really big difference in the class to see people who have not enough experience, and they could be, not to say delusional, but like you can feel that there is no hard experience of working through different environments.
There wasn't like any skin in the game yet.
Exactly. Very good sentence. Yeah. That's what I said, that I also have an international background. And I think third one, I said that I'm very hungry to learn, because one of the main idea of my business school was that you have absolutely different cultures in the room. We have 120 people from 40 different countries, and I was hungry to learn different cultures and different approaches, because coming to Silicon Valley, I understood if I know how people from different countries are motivated, how they react to things, the why they choose something, it will help me as a professional to do a better decisions. And right now, I can definitely see my competitive advantage, because I work with so many different cultural groups. When I'm talking with the different people, I'm not judging them right away why they do things this and this way. I'm thinking, okay, they are from this certain culture, I can understand, let me try to convince them from their standpoint.
So like the way you described your personal statement, it fits very into US culture, like very capitalistic. Like I'm hungry, I'm proactive, like I'm pro-feminist. Have you thought about this at that time, or just like organic fit? Because I do feel it's not just only about the like person program fit, but it's also about person country fit. And sometimes you could be dreaming, like about one country, but then like get to study, it's like, oh my god, what I'm doing here. It was pretty much me with China. Still spent there like 3 years, but it was not person country fit at all.
Right before I think I chose MBA, I got the offer from one of the biggest Chinese e-commerce companies. And when I was in the interview process, I understood that's not my culture fit. And you asked a really good question. I think when I started working in Europe and exploring so many European countries, I start feeling which one I'm comfortable, where I'm comfortable and where I'm not. Like Germany, wonderful country, but it's not my cup of tea. Then I came to like other places, and I came to United States just for traveling, and then for work a couple times. I just flew for 3 days from Frankfurt to Philadelphia, and I'm like, okay, I feel it. I know that not everyone have a chance to explore the country before coming for studying. I thankfully had this chance. And also I understood like from very early age that I was not a cultural fit in my homeland too.
People keep
I totally
calling
get
me
weirdo. Dasha knows me. We're friends. Yes, people keep calling me weirdo because I'm always very friendly. I like to chat with people in grocery stores. I know all.
You always have opinion and everything.
I always have opinion and everything. I love like chatting with the like security guards. I still have their phone numbers, just like because I like to be friendly. In the United States, this is exactly my place.
Yeah. So it's actually very so. I'm trying to frame it. I understand the best way to test the culture is to live. I mean, like it was like travel. Sometimes talk to people. I remember like myself back when I was applying. I did not travel until I got first into the Spain, and then like I right away got information that I got scholarship to China. So like I didn't have, and like many students, especially who like those who applying to like masters, they don't really have like maybe sometimes financial opportunities just to travel the world and see. How do you think? What would be like the best way to approach to see like, hey, do you have actually a person country fit? I mean, we have our own scoring system we're working on. A bit of product placement that's kind of like that's fit, but I do feel it's really important because you put so much effort into the admission. You put so much effort and money and time into like and there's like so much expectations, like, oh my god, I'm going to be studying abroad. And then if you land in the country that they totally do not like, make a depression. So like, any tips?
I will say that probably, and that's what I also did, we have internet right now, watching videos from those places. Not only watch videos about touristic spots, like Germany Germany for tourism and Germany for living are two different countries. What I also did, and like my business school did, for example, for potential students, they were matching potential students with the current students to go through and like, hey, tell me about like what you like and what you don't like, especially with the students from the same country or from the same culture. Like, we're Eastern Europeans. Like, if you match me from different people from Eastern Europe, we will be pretty much sharing similar feedback because we have a similar background. That's, I think, great way to evaluate.
Yeah, I totally agree. I guess like that's like was one of the ideas why we decided to do like community driven startups. So like it's the soft, like that's expertise, but matching people with the people who like already on a spot, like they can share, like you can talk to, like you can see, like you can look at the country with their eyes. Sometimes might be the most efficient. Coming towards like talking to people. So we know, I mean, like almost everyone, when you want to study abroad, you want to stay abroad. You want to find a job and you want to relocate. Maybe not necessarily to the same country, but like overall. And lots of people struggle. They struggle to fit in. They struggle to adapt. They struggle to find a job because they feel like, hey, I'm going to get a degree and automatically all the employers are going to get lined down, offers for me, which is not the case. Like job market is a Hunger Games.
Absolutely.
And there's big part of this is about networking and talking to people. And I feel like outside of product management, that's like one of your top secret weapons, which is not maybe the right word when I'm talking, like Russian talking to Jewish right now, but, but we are political. Yeah, of course. What do you think like the first things people should do, like once they landed at the school to make sure, like they get a job and they stay and they feel happy, like because lots of people are kind of like transferring in the same bubble, like, hey, I'm gonna try to replicate the same habits, the same food, like everything I used to have in my country. So your thoughts on this?
Absolutely great point and important to remember about this. I saw how we started our education. Yeah, of course. First of all, my MBA was 1 year program, which leads to 6 days per week you are studying. I literally have, even Sunday was not my day off because I need to do all those projects. The problem, what I saw, a lot of people were staying in like very popular saying comfort zone. They were only hanging out with our classmates, or they only hanging out with the classmates from different cohorts who are from same country. Like being in this bubble, I understand it's very comforting for you, but it's not bring you anywhere. I create a strategy that at least 1 to 2 times a week I'm going to some events outside of my business school. It was tough, yes, but I learned that's the way how I can learn about the city. I'm still 7 years in San Francisco and I'm still learning about the city. But that was my first approach, not staying in this comfort zone. I remember myself, I'm extrovert, but I remember myself how it's difficult to talk, to have this small talk with people who you have no idea what to talk about. It's some like random people at a meetup. Right now I have a chance like not to talk with anyone, just to like observe what's happening on the meetup because I'm coming for my own reasons. But at that time, and I'm like, okay, what I did, I prepared before event. I look into the list of who is speaking at the event because usually people are lining up to the speakers after event, and I knew like, okay, no, that's not the case. Let's go through all of those names, and I saw them and I talked with them before the event, and even before they have like a little badge with their name. And then I also realized the good chance is to do volunteering. It's very important rule, and it absolutely works universally and works in United States. Before you get something, give something. And I decided
first.
Give first, yeah.
Relationship building culture.
Yeah, and I decided to do volunteering job. Like I volunteer in a lot of conferences in Silicon Valley, where I was the one who was meet and greet participants, meet and greet speakers. I saw them, and people remembered me that I helped them organize everything. I didn't ask them for a job right away. What I was asking, I print my resume, which I, to be honest, continue changing all the time. But at that time, I probably changed maybe 50 times, at least 50 times. It's nothing from what I came with. And I thought like, oh, I have amazing resume. Absolutely no. I was going to all those events with my printed resume and asking people like, hey, can you take a look and say, what do you think need to be changed? Like which word I should, and especially people who are in my industry and who are like in the higher position. And also when you're applying for a job, as you said, it's a Hunger Games, but you need to have like a little project. When you are coming to the different country, there's a 3 big pillars you need to think about. Like 1, you're changing location, check mark, we've done this. 2, we're staying in the industry. I stay in the industry, for me it's a technology. And 3rd one, changing or staying in the same position. I used to be a project manager, but in the United States, this position is not related to technology usually. It's more construction or accounting work. And I moved into the program management, which means I kind of changed the job, but stay in the same industry. And that was my strategy, like talking with people, giving to people, asking questions, being prepared, know them in person. Like sometimes I look through their LinkedIn and like, okay, this person likes cycling. I used to do triathlon before I came to the United States. Let's talk about
be
this.
prepared, networking and building relationship. It's work that definitely pays off, but it's definitely about, like really, it's about like giving first, as we mentioned. I mean, like we've been to Techstars and Techstars motto, give first. And even like by looking at their profile and investing your time to understand that the person already giving first, they're really giving your time, like in commitment and interest towards building this relationship, and it always pays off. And it's like relationship building, like business one. Not when I'm talking about like drinking and the parties, which in some cultures actually might help, not in the United States. No matter how much alcohol you're gonna drink, like it's not gonna be about career or like investments or job or anything. So
maybe not in San Francisco, maybe in some cities.
Maybe maybe not in Silicon Valley. Maybe not in Silicon Valley.
Not the West Coast. Silicon Valley. I think.
I'm not sure about New York.
Yeah, that's what I said. Not on the West Coast. It could be East Coast or middle part of America. It could work, but you need to know people.
Yeah, 100%. Couple of like few final questions. You mentioned small talk. Lots of people are shy. I mean, we have lots of students from India. That's not all part of the culture. And just overall, students are shy in many cases. 3 tips how to make it easier, just to start a small talk with like anyone, any person in the campus, someone at the event, anyone.
First of all, I am usually asking if it's your first time at this event, because you are usually going to events which been organized by team which already have previous events. And I'm like, oh, have you been at those events before? Boom, perfect connection. The second thing, I always recommend to be on the positive side. Sometimes I feel down, and in this case, and I'm like, okay, I will stay a little bit aside and like drink something and observe and think who I'm comfortable to talk, than like being with a bad mood and like coming to someone. Yeah. That's the second one. And third one, always remember that people could be unpredictably helpful. Sometimes you're coming someone and you're asking questions and you're talking with them, and maybe they have a job opening, or maybe they're also looking for a job, or they can be together with you in the group, like let's work together, let's help, or they know someone they introduce, someone you can introduce. Like that's how all energy, I became so California, this is all how energy that's all how everything works, by exchange. Like do not think that by coming to someone it's you will bring something bad to the table. No. And actually I always keep telling to people about referrals as well. Like in 90% of the time, companies are paying to people who referred someone. That's why, like, if you're
interested.
Yes, that's why if you're asking for a referral person who will say yes, I will refer you. I usually, like, for example, looking through the resume to see it's a good fit or not. People who referred you will get paid.
Yeah.
That's why it's not something bad. Again, we're in corporate in the capitalistic country.
Well, yeah, because I feel like it's different in the culture. So like when you come in, like we come from Russia, and then like the same like India, like a lot of like in Asia. I guess like maybe slightly less developed country ones, like less safety people, kind of like afraid to ask and feel like they have to give something back or like they own something. Which is here, people just because there's like not enough trust overall to the world, to the
Correct.
system, like to like other people because of the safety and all of this. And I feel like in states like very different. I have like a few more questions. So like first, coming back slightly to the topic of the education. I mean, we all are, especially people who live in Silicon Valley, right now in the right heart of like AI revolution that's happening right now. I mean, like it's you like been to like pretty much just like almost all meaningful events in Silicon Valley. What it means to when it connects to AI. But like students, I don't know, like you're gonna have some guys watching who like would like to study undergrad. It's gonna be 4 years, or like someone who's gonna be studying masters. What do you think people should study right now when like jobs are pretty much swept away from the market every release of the open AI?
I think creativity, like, let's think about two different things. For people who are more in humanitarian studies and people who are more in technological one. Humanitarian wise, I still think that creativity will not go anywhere. Like if you're an artist or if you're looking into the even interior design, you can do everything in AI. But like there was like a really good joke when you see backyard and you're asking AI, hey, can you add like a little bit of pine, which is like a tree, to my backyard? And as a result, AI added little leaf from the pine on the backyard because that's how system being trained. It will take so much time to train it, and like there should be someone behind who will train, who will create something. That's why I think all creative jobs will not gone. With AI, we should think not in terms of it will substitute us. It will help us in be more efficient. Like today, I think, or recently, yesterday, there were studies which saying that the Google system start predicting 59% of diseases, where doctors usually predicting only 33% of diseases.
Oh wow!
Which means together, right, we can achieve incredible results. Like a lot of things could be treated much faster. That's why I think creativity, medicine still will be always on top. You just need to use those tools in the right way, and especially like writing prompts for good questions. It's a whole separate science. And then talking about engineering part, I think still coding is really good thing. Infrastructure, like architecture, how to build the big systems, very important. How to train those systems is really great, right? Because these things will not go like AI also built by someone. AI need to be trained. There are so many things which can be automated, like our day-to-day life, but someone need to build this. And it will not happen tomorrow. I think in jobs being swiped, and then people start realize like, okay, we actually need this XYZ person in the company. Let's rehire them because it was too premature and too early. Also, for Silicon Valley, it's a method of adjustment salaries. That's why it's like if you're looking only to Silicon Valley, like oh my god, jobs disappeared. Like no, it's like a way to standardize a little bit across the market because like we have a crazy economy.
I have like two final questions. So first, we briefly mentioned Silicon Valley, and that's where I lived, and that's where you live right now. That's where lots of people, especially in tech, want to land. Who should not be coming to San Francisco and Silicon Valley?
Good question. Oh my god, I love San Francisco and Silicon Valley so much. Dasha knows. I think this is very accepted for everyone place, but if you are not in technology, you're absolutely not interested, even though I think almost all professions will be in touch with the technology, that's not your place. If you are, if you feel that you're very conservative in your vision, that you are not ready to change, that you are not ready to accept like different lifestyle, different people, that's also not the
Yeah,
best place, I think. And also, if you are not ready, that it will cost a lot. Like, it's financially expensive place, financially and mentally expensive place.
Oh yeah, mental especially. Like so many talented people, like so much competition, so much FOMO if you're missing out. That's tough. I feel like sometimes the price you pay for the like mental health and like pressure put on yourself is much higher than the actual dollars. Similar question. I mean, study abroad, amazing experience. Like lots of people do. I built a company helping second company and helping people do this, but still, it's not for everyone. Let's be honest. From your experience, who should not go study abroad? I mean,
I have a few examples,
yeah.
even in my class. I don't think that it's a good experience for people who are very into their own country, into their own culture, that they are not open for new experience. If they're like, okay, I see even right now that people who study or people who move together, they keep telling like, oh, and then in my country it was like this and this. In my country it was like completely different. Like, yeah, but you're not in your country anymore, and you have a choice. Even you learn new thing, you get this experience, and then you apply this experience back at home if you want to come back, or you're just not choosing to move. I think that's number one. If you're not open, sometimes you like there's something at home which is bring you back and you cannot go here. It's totally fine. That's number one. When you're not prepared, like mentally you're not there. Number two, probably when you know, like when you're not ready to struggle, like struggle from different standpoints. It could be financial struggle, it could be sleeping struggle, it could be mental struggle, it could be love struggle because you don't understand people.
Oh my god, dating.
Yeah, that's a different topic here. Yeah, if you feel that right now you have that comfortable life and you don't want to live this comfortable life, you need to be prepared, that you need to be humble for like certain amount of time here to adjust. When I say here, anywhere abroad, you need to be humble because you are pretty much starting, maybe not from zero, but from 0.25. And people who live here, you will be always comparing yourself with locals that like, oh, he or she is same age as me, but I haven't achieved this level. But yeah, you moved. You like completely left your previous life. And if you're not ready for this struggle, I don't think that it's the right moment to move. Even you are reconsider and doing later, or you just like only traveling for vacation.
Just like I guess like summarizing, I feel like both like in Silicon Valley and study abroad, which is like amazing opportunities, like that it can give a lot, and it's like lots of people dreaming about. The core is flexibility, adaptivity, because you gotta change a lot. Those places extremely competitive, which means like everyone's changing a lot. Like you have to reinvent yourself sometimes every like 2 years, sometimes every 18 months, because like you like in the center, like in the highest concentration of like smart, very smart people. And resilience and commitment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always keep telling to people, do not give up. If you are already, I'm talking about Silicon Valley. If you are already here, if you're already in a certain room and talking with certain people, it's meant to be. You already invest so much time and energy. Try more, you will achieve. This is, especially in the United States, it sounds funny, but it's actually a land of opportunity. Everyone can be successful. Everyone can find their holy grail. It could be through the study. It could be through their work next. It could be through some people. It could be like through a family, anything.
Or maybe if you're right now listening to this podcast, it's meant to be because you're almost in the virtual room with us.
Exactly.
Getting inspiration from both of us. So the very final moment, what you would recommend to do to a person who wants to get a scholarship to study abroad this or next year? Like what they have to do like right after finishing listening to this podcast?
I think using services like Dasha's, this is really great because
I haven't
yeah, I actually was one of the first mentors at Dasha's previous platform, and we didn't know each other at that time. I just really like idea. I think services like that reading literature and like watching video about the place where you go. Compare university. Again, we talk about AI. You can use ChatGPT to compare different university and the programs, and like think about next step. If you're choosing some country, what will be your next step? Do you want to immigrate there? Do you want to stay? Do you want to come back? Do you want to bring business? You ask a really good question about people who want to stay in the country. Yeah, I have a lot of people who stay and a lot of who came back to their home countries and expand their businesses, for example, or open another subsidiaries in the United States.
Yeah, that's also like one of the best forwards. You don't always have to, like stay. Like sometimes you can bring something. Yet that's like very common trend, especially like in Africa. People really love to bring back and like
Absolutely.
elevate their countries. Awesome. I think we've discussed a lot. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I love the energy. Guys, we're gonna have the links for like Anna's social media. If you're gonna be in San Francisco, she posts a lot about different networking events on your Instagram as well, and like LinkedIn and everything. Thanks so much, everyone. Yeah, if you want to become a product manager in Silicon Valley, who to reach out and which episode to listen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.